All right, everyone. Welcome to today's strength class. Happy Monday. Here is our Balanced Mingo Challenge. Again, 4-week program running all through September. So if you have any questions on that, again, please feel free to add yourself to the Slack thread. Again, you can improve, you refine, and focus a little bit on your balance and stability. So I know balance is really important for us. So especially as we get older. So if you have any questions, add yourself, or hopefully you're able to participate in the program. Next, we have the cooking demo. Again, this month's cooking demo. It looks like it's really, really good. Again, hopefully you get some really cool inspirations from, all these different recipes that we do, but looks like this month we have some lemon and zucchini cake. So hopefully you are able to join and watch. Again, all these are usually recorded, so you can always watch the recordings if you can't attend live. And then lastly, we have the Balance and Core webinar. Again, this was on September 11th, so hopefully you are able to join live. If not, you could always watch the recording, and hopefully you're able to learn something new. All right, I'll go and stop sharing now. And then I'll go ahead and spotlight myself. Again, you'll just need a kettlebell and a light to moderate pair of dumbbells. All right, great. Let's go ahead and start moving now. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with a nice and easy lateral lunge. So go ahead and have start with your feet directly underneath your hips. Please make sure that there's plenty of space to the left and to the right of you. We're going to go and just take a nice little lateral lunge. We're going to go ahead and have our fingertips touch right next to our medial part of our foot. Again, just nice and dynamic, just focusing here on opening up our groin, opening up our hips, and just getting some movements here in the lateral plane. Do a couple more repetitions on each side. All right, let's go ahead now, and we're going to go ahead and just get some movements here in our low back. Take our hands, put them across our shoulders. Go ahead and bring your chin down, round your back, push your hips back, and then we're going to go ahead and stand up. And the same thing. Again, bring our chin down, round our shoulders, pause at the very bottom, and repeat. And then we'll do one more repetition. All right, good job. Let's go ahead and just opening up here our chest, our shoulders. We are doing a little bit of pressing today. Go get some movement here in our shoulders. So one hand over the other. And then we're going to go ahead and just do one hand over the other in the lateral plane. Get some movement here in our chest and shoulders. Let's go ahead and get some lateral flexion now. We're going to go ahead and reach to the opposite side of our body. Make it just nice and dynamic. Get some lateral flexion here in our spine. And then let's go ahead and rock back and forth between our heels and our toes to get some movement here in our tibialis anterior and a little bit in our Achilles tendon and our calves or gastrocnemius. And just rocking back and forth between our toes and our heels. And then let's go ahead and just balance on one leg. Go and take one foot, put it right in front of the other. And again, just focus on using your foot muscles. Again, you'll notice that your foot will internally rotate and externally rotate, or inversion, eversion. Just really focus on flattening down our toes. Go and switch on the other side and focusing on just using our foot muscles and squeezing through our midline, squeezing our glutes. And if you want to close your eyes to make it a little bit more challenging, you can also do that as well. Let's go to the other foot again. And you could just take some feedback on your own, see how unstable your foot is. Maybe your knee might kind of move and buckle a little bit. We're just looking for nice, good stability. Switch other side. Oops, almost fell over on that one. All right, everyone, go ahead and keep stretching, keep moving if you like. We have a couple different movements today. We're just utilizing our kettlebell today for some deadlifts. Today, we have the kettlebell suitcase deadlift. Again, focusing a lot on anti-rotation and focusing a lot on the stability of our core and our glutes with this movement. So we're going to go ahead and grab that kettlebell. You're going to go ahead and stand on either side of the kettlebell. Again, if you're holding the kettlebell on your right side, you're going to notice that your body's going to naturally want to shift towards that right side. We're really focused on keeping our parallels nice and square and just utilizing our core, our belly button, our glutes to basically focus on keep moving forward. And we're just focusing on that nice bending pattern. We got working for 20 seconds on our right, working for 20 seconds on our left. After we finish that movement, we have a lunge to curl. So we're going to go ahead and grab the pair of dumbbells, and then we're going to go and do a nice little forward lunge. After we get that forward lunge, we're going to go back to the starting position and then perform that curl. And then we're going to go and do that movement with our opposite leg. So just switching off every repetition. Again, if the lunge pattern is super difficult for you, we can go and modify into a nice little split squat. And then we're just basically kind of focusing on going up and down with our dumbbells and then really focusing on that lunge type of pattern. After we finish that, we have an overhead hold and a march, a really simple exercise. We're going to go ahead and hold the one pair of dumbbell and just focusing on marching. And then on the next set, we're going to go ahead and go on the left side. And then we have a couple of different movements after that, but the first three are probably the most complicated. So go ahead and grab yourself your kettlebell, grab yourself a nice little sip of water, and then we're going to go ahead and start. Again, starting on the kettlebell suitcase deadlift, we got 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. I am going to go ahead and start the clock. Please make sure that you are muted just one last time. We got 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone, starting 20 seconds on whatever side works for you. Again, focusing on keeping your feet nice and straight as we go ahead and go into the eccentric or the lengthening. Push our hips back, let our hips come down, and then go ahead and stand up all the way. Go ahead and switch sides, a quick little 20 seconds. Again, try not to use your back at this. This is a nice hamstring and posterior chain movement. So again, just really focusing here on using our glutes, our hamstrings. And depending on what you're standing on, you might even notice your Achilles will get loaded a little bit. So go ahead and switch or go ahead and rest now. Nice job. That was our nice little kettlebell suitcase deadlift. Again, hopefully you were able to feel and see what that movement shift looks like. Next one, we have the lunge to curl. So we got 40 seconds, 20 seconds on your right, 20 seconds on your left. We have a nice little lunge. Go ahead and work now. Again, go and tap your knee, kiss the floor, stand all the way up. A nice little curl at the top. And then we're going to go ahead and go on the next side. If the forward lunge is too difficult for you, you can totally go ahead and do a reverse lunge if that's just a little bit more easier for you. Again, one is a little bit more quad dominant. One is a little bit more glute dominant. So feel free to kind of choose whichever one works best for you. And if they are both kind of hard or difficult for you without or with weight, you can always feel free to just basically rest. Go ahead and rest now and just go ahead and do body weight. Totally up to you. Again, a little bit more kind of a complex movement with adding the lunge and then going to adding the curl. But again, it's always good to make things a little bit more intense. So we have some good brain activity going on. Go ahead and grab one dumbbell now. We have overhead hold and march. Start whatever side works for you. And then we're going to go ahead and just focus here on digging our knees up. Again, whatever hand you're holding the dumbbell in, focus up on pushing up against gravity. Try not to let your elbow flex or focus on full extension, pushing up against the dumbbell. And also try not to, rotate towards that non-dominant side. Again, focus on keeping your hips nice and square and really activating your core and your glutes. Again, you'll notice a little bit here in your scapula and your rotator cuff. Go and rest now. As 40 seconds is a pretty good amount of time to be holding something overhead. So again, you'll notice some contraction going on in your scapula and your shoulder. All right, next move, we're going to go into a Jefferson curl. So go ahead and grab one dumbbell here. Go ahead and lock out your elbows. Feet should be directly underneath your hips. Go ahead and bring your chin down, bring your shoulders rounded, and go ahead and bring that dumbbell as close as you can to your body. Again, all this movement should be a nice little stretch for your low back. Again, loading our low back here, protecting our low back as we pick heavier things up. And rounding our back is essential for this movement, as this is targeting our low back, keeping us safe when we do some unnatural movements sometimes, and ultimately protecting our back. Good rest. Nice job. That is our Jefferson curl. And you can also make that more difficult by standing on something that's a little bit more elevated. That way you can really get some large range of motion within that exercise. We have the dumbbell side bend now. We will just go ahead and utilize one dumbbell, simple exercise here, targeting our core, hand on the hip. We're going to go ahead and bend towards each side. Again, one side is loaded, one side is non-loaded. But again, working here on our core. Again, really essential for this exercise, a good point of performance is to make sure your belly button is, you want to feel like your belly button is contracted and kind of going through your low back. As you'll see, our ribs will be feeling a little differently. If we're not engaged within our belly button, it just feels a lot more different. Go ahead and rest. Nice job. All right, we got one last exercise within this interval. We have a nice little lateral raise, targeting a little bit of our shoulders. Again, just taking the dumbbells towards the lateral side of our body. You should be able to see your dumbbells within your periphery. So totally up to you. If you want to hold in the neutral position, you totally can. It's much safer for your shoulders, and it feels a lot better. You can also make it just a little bit more challenging by where you hold the dumbbells. So if you want to hold them, depending on the dumbbells you have, again, you'll notice where you grip the dumbbells. You'll feel a little bit more, a lot different, a lot more challenging, or just the standard kind of overhand grip. You could also do that as well. We got about 10 more seconds before we switch. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, good job, everyone. That is one interval. We're going to go back up to the top and then perform again the kettlebell suitcase. Then feel free to adjust your weights, get some heavier ones, lighter ones, whatever works for you. Again, we're focusing here on the anti-rotation, so target whatever side works best for you. All right, clock is on. Holding the kettlebell again by the handle and just basically retracing our steps, trying not to shift toward that side that we're holding the kettlebell. Again, keeping our hips nice and square. Go ahead and switch sides. And I like this because we're also kind of doing a single arm farmer hold here, except it's just a little bit dynamic as we are bending. So you are getting some really good movements here in your upper back, or some stabilization in your upper back and your scapula. 2, 1. Good job, everyone. We won't need that kettlebell anymore. So go ahead and rest. Next movement, we have, again, the lunge to curl. Again, depending on your difficulty level, you can go ahead and make this more of a split squat kind of curl. Or if you have the movement to lunge, feel free to do that. I'll go and demonstrate the split squat. So we're going to go ahead and plant our front foot, make sure our back foot is nice and elevated. Just a nice little dip. Go ahead and stand up, and then we'll perform that curl. Nice little, go and stand up and then curl. Again, we're going to go ahead and alternate as well. Make sure we get the equal number of repetitions on each side. Again, if you are lunging, you're performing that lunge and then performing that curl right after you finish. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest. Nice job. Again, the lunge of one of these 6 essential patterns of movement. So hopefully you're able to fully lunge either forward or in the reverse. Next one, we have the overhead hold and march. If you started on your right side on the first interval, go ahead and go to the opposite side. Again, single arm, elbows fully extended, and basically pushing up against gravity. Again, if you want to make this a little bit more aerobic, you could definitely walk a little faster. Or if you just want to focus again on stabilization, go slow, but just make every step with good quality. My left side is definitely a little bit more unstable than my right side is, even though I am ambidextrous, but I predominantly use my right side, I would say a little bit more often than my left. Go ahead and rest. I eat, I brush my teeth with my left hand, but I throw with my right hand. So I'm kind of one of those people. Next one, we have the Jefferson curl. Again, you can also do this with a pair of dumbbells if you want, but it feels a little bit more comfortable for me with the one in the crush grip position. Go and have your feet directly underneath you, elbows fully extended, chin down, around your shoulders. Go ahead and reach down. Again, if you have good mobility here, feel free to take that dumbbell closer towards your foot and your shoelaces. Again, the low back is essential, so it is essential to load our low back in a nice, safe position while both loaded and unloaded. We got one more rep. All right, good job, everyone. We got two more movements. Again, going to the dumbbell side bend and then the lateral raise. I really like that Jefferson curl just because if you lift pretty heavy regularly, deadlift, trap bar deadlift, pick something up from the ground, it's important to make sure you load our low back. That way we can protect it. All right, elbows just fully extended, just relaxed. Again, focus here on the belly button. Again, sometimes I'll even put my hand over my belly button just so I can kind of press against it and feel my abs contract. And your palm will give you feedback. Four, three, two, one. Good job, everyone. We got one last movement. Again, going here into the lateral dumb raises, lateral raises. Again, targeting here our shoulders. And then that'll be the very end of our strength class. All right, go ahead and grab yourself your pair of dumbbells. We have one last movement again. Again, you can go ahead and grip the dumbbells in the neutral grip position. Totally up to you. With your thumbs pointed up. Or if you want to go into the conventional overhead or overhand. And you'll notice a difference in where you feel the contractions taking place every rep. Again, both have their room in program design. It's basically up to you what is best for you. 3, 2, 1. Good job, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock. Let's go ahead and perform just one more set of just bicep curls so we can get a little bit more movement here in our biceps. Let's go ahead and have one elbow in the 90-degree angle. So just like this, performing an isometric contraction while the other arm is performing a curl. Let's go ahead and do 10 repetitions on your right, 10 repetitions on your left. So that way we get some stabilization in and isometric in while doing something a little bit more dynamic. Once you get to 10, go ahead and switch. Again, elbows should be fully extended. If you want to tuck your elbow in towards your side to have a little bit more comfort and some more stability, you can. Or if you want to take that elbow and go away from your body, you'll notice a slight fluctuation. Becomes a little bit more forearm dominant. Last one. All right, good job, everyone. That is the very end of our strength class. I'll go ahead and stop the recording now. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll see you next Monday. Enjoy. the rest of your week. See you later.